We're going to intro into transformations in lesson 67. And what a transformation simply is a change in position, size, or shape of a figure. More specifically for a transformation is an isometry. Now, an isometry is what we're actually going to be talking in more detail about today. An isometry is a transformation. It's a specific type of transformation that does not change the size or shape. So previously here, transformation said we could change position, size, and shape. This one doesn't change the size and shape, so it only changes position. And I want to talk about these polygons here. So say we have a triangle UVT, and we moved it. All right, say we just moved the triangle. Well, if I move it and it keeps the same angle measures, congruency, it's the same shape all around, and I just moved it, that's known as an isometry. The first one, our initial one we had, is called our pre-image, and where we moved it to is referred to as our image. Now notice, to separate the pre-image from the image, what I did was I used these little tick marks here. And those are called primes. And what that does is tell you ultimately that you moved it, and eventually we're going to move things multiple times, so it tells you how many times you moved it. But those are primes, so we're going to use those. All we're going to look at to finish this lesson is 3 different types of transformations. 3 different types. Now, all these are isometries actually in this lesson, but eventually we'll get to where they're not isometries. So the first transformation is called a translation or a slide. You're probably going to generally hear me say translation. And what a translation does is it simply shifts or slides every point of a figure the same distance in the same direction as shown with the parallelogram. This one's not exactly a parallelogram, but quadrilateral. It's all the same, doesn't matter the polygon. But we just moved this figure, JKLM, from one position to another. And notice I added my primes to show that this was the original, or the pre-image, and this is the image. But that is known as a transformation or a slide. The second type of transformation is a reflection or a flip. And you're going to hear me say reflection for the most part. Now, in order for something to reflect, it would have to be reflected across a line, known as the line of reflection, such that the line is a perpendicular bisector of each segment joining each point in its image. So, originally, this was our shape. A, B, C, D, a very funky shape. It's very hard to draw. Well, if I want to reflect it, I have this imaginary line that's my reflector line, and when I shift it over, it is the exact same image, it's just kind of mirrored. And so then I label A, B, C, D. Notice A and D are at the same spots of the pre-image. That's okay because it was reflecting across a line, so that is going to happen. And then the last one is a rotation or a turn. You're going to hear me say rotation for the most part. And in order to have a rotation, what you have to have is a point of rotation. So point R right here is actually our point of rotation. And so all it does is it shifts this triangle and rotates it, maybe those 90 or 180 degrees. But this would be our pre-image. And this is our image. But those are the 3 types of transformations, and we're going to use those in future lessons. But it's just introducing them to geometry this lesson. So that's all we have for lesson 67.